Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the I Am CDB project. I'm your host, CDB. You are not, and today we are going to use the Baker Street by Stirling soap, which is really nice. Great scent that was originally developed by Strop Shop, I believe. Really difficult to describe in terms of scent, but to me it comes off sort of citrusy, really bright. I like it a lot. And we're also going to show you today the Stirling stainless steel razor. I don't know what this is called. I really don't have much information on this. They sent it to me just to try. It is stainless steel, and there's a look at it. As you can see, the neck is, thin relative to the handle. Some really good knurling on the handle itself if you're somebody who really likes knurling, and we're going to give it a go today. I have a couple of different base plates for this, which we will, I don't know if I brought the other one in here with me. Yeah, I did. There's a look at the other base plate. I really like the way some of these razor manufacturers have gone to these big elevated posts, so it really gets that blade locked in there very well. And so we're going to give this razor a go. Again, I don't know how much. It is stainless steel. That's the extent I can tell you about this razor, and it is by Stirling. Have not used it yet, so this will be the maiden voyage with this particular razor, and we will see how it goes. I hope everyone is having a good weekend thus far. Today is Sunday. It's gotten cooler here. It dropped down to in the 20s at night and morning and so forth. It's not my thing. I don't care that much for it, but it is what it is. And boy, this Baker Street tastes fantastic. So if you remember Strop Shop Baker Street and you like that scent and you don't have it or you ran out, get it from Stirling, assuming they still have it. I don't know. I assume so. It's a really good scent. If you like citrusy, bright, scents. And as I mentioned yesterday, and I think I'll make a habit of mentioning, which will certainly annoy some people. In terms of lather on these videos, don't get super carried away with the way it looks. Get super carried away with looking at how the shave is going. And at the end of the shave, if the person has had a good shave, no creepers, weepers, cuts, and so forth. Now, sometimes you can cause that, yourself. So there is a human element to this. But generally speaking, if you don't have a lot of irritation, creepers, cuts, then, and you don't feel raw, you've had a good shave. So that's sort of how I measure it. The way the lather looks, it does matter, but it's really hard to assess over video unless it's just really bad. Okay, so the first few strokes there feels pretty smooth. I don't know what the blade has. Again, I have two plates here. This one does not feel extremely mild. Again, stainless steel, so it's going to be a little bit heavier than your traditional, offering like a Merkur or 34. Or this feels fairly aggressive to me. Again, I don't know which plate it is that I'm working with, but it's definitely not super mild, but it's also not crazy aggressive. So it feels pretty good so far. Astra SP is the blade, by the way. And again, there's a look at the razor. I kind of like that they've taken the neck down a little bit, save on weight a little bit, maybe help with the balance. But the way these things handle and feel is really subjective, because some people like a razor that's top heavy or just heavy in general. Some people like aluminum and really light. I tend to be sort of in the middle of the pack. I used to prefer all stainless all the time, and then, I sort of began appreciating sort of that middle ground, although I do like the durability of stainless and so forth. So first pass with the new Stirling stainless razor, quite good. I don't think it's for sale yet. I think it's still, early in the offering cycle, or not even in the offering cycle. I think it's just in development, so to speak. I could be wrong, so if it's up on the website, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think they were looking for feedback on it, and so I figured I'd just do my feedback on video the way I always do. Sometimes I give private feedback when asked, but generally I try to do it on video. I have gotten a few products that were not mainstream that were just so bad that I did not make a video. Like I have one sitting here that a gentleman sent me. It's kind of a tube cream and it's just not good. It's terrible. And I would rather those folks go back to the drawing board and work on their product more than ruining the brand before it ever gets off the ground. Now, if it was an established person and they made a flop, I would of course tell them, but this particular one's, nobody's probably ever heard of it. So I thought in those cases, I'll sort of reach out to the person and go, hey, this is pretty bad, and you're going to get killed, not literally, of course, but you're not going to do well in this market. So you probably need to go back and change some things. And so I would give a new folks an opportunity usually. But, if they continue to run with it and put it out, and then of course I would, if they're really happy with their product, then I'll certainly give my thoughts. But if they sound like they're interested in, working on it and it's sort of in process sort of thing, then certainly I wouldn't want to destroy a product that's still sort of in beta testing, so to speak. So that's sort of the way I look at those sort of things. Now this guy right here, I don't know what the blade gap on this plate is, but it's fairly aggressive. This is not, at least on this plate, super mild. I'd call it medium at least, if not a little more. And again, there's the other plate. It's hard to see, but we'll try that one in a future video as well before I send this back to Rod. But shapes pretty well. I mean, no complaints. Of course, it's going to be heavy relative to the Pascal razor I was using yesterday. And if you haven't seen that video, go back and check it out. Really, really like that razor. Like the price. And I would assume that this razor, Stirling is usually not in the business of just charging as much as possible. Obviously, they want to make money. I mean, they have family, they have children, Rod and Mandy. Really nice people, and they're trying to make a living. And I'll say, and I don't think I'm airing any personal business. At one point in time, some years back, it was really difficult for them in the business. And they just kept plugging. And I've told this story before, but if you're new to the channel, there was a time where I just did not like Stirling. So it had a funky off sort of odor, and they fixed it. And actually, I talked to Rod on the phone about it. And again, I realize this is a story I've told before, but for the benefit of those who are new, he never came out and publicly complained about, YouTubers or forums bashing his product. He just sort of talked to some of us and got to work, and he eventually fixed it, and that's all there is to it. And so that's the way I really like it. Some of the artisans are super, and vendors are super defensive, and anything you say that's remotely negative, they get very upset, and then they send their hit squad and lackeys out to, try to discredit whomever is airing criticism. Believe me, it does happen. There are cultish groups within the wet shaving community in terms of they just like certain brands, and boy, they go on the offensive anytime anyone has criticism to air about their favorite product, And so Rod, though, has always been fair in receiving criticism. Now, obviously, I'm sure some folks have had problems with Stirling. Virtually every vendor has, problems at some point. But what I mean to say is, Rod, to my knowledge, does not orchestrate these lackeys to go out and assail people, as, quite frankly, some other brands have been known to do. And so that's one of the reasons I like Stirling and Rod and Mandy and so forth and so on. It's been a good shave with this razor. No problems whatsoever. And of course, you know, the Baker Street is really good. It is a unique scent. I don't think there's anything like this. And so you'll be seeing this razor again soon when I use this other plate. Initial impressions, and again, I'm sure Rod will put out the details on blade gap and all this. I used the plate that was sort of with the razor actually on it at the time, so I don't know where the blade gap falls, but fairly aggressive. No problems whatsoever. Smooth shaver, didn't feel rough. So from the initial impression standpoint of first use, good. No problems at all. Stainless steel. I'm sure it will be a decent price because Stirling doesn't really hold people over the barrel for trying to squeeze every penny out of them on shipping or anything. So overall, nice experience with this razor. You'll see more, and perhaps Rod will put out or give me some more information. So next time I'll share some of that. Again, I don't come on here to regurgitate vendor stuff, but if they share some things I think are relevant, I'll put it out. But I'm not here to read a spec sheet, but people generally are interested in blade gap and so on. So I'll pass that on to you. But you can always go on the website or email Stirling, and I'm sure they'll share whatever details they're able to share at this time. I want to thank everyone once again for joining. Until next time, I've been your host, CDB. You are not. God bless.